Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all the people tuned in to watch World This Morning on Pakistan TV. I happen to be Eesha Rehan and I've been joined by the one and only Shahzad Khan, and we have officially launched into the month of fall. It is going to bring chilly breezes and hopefully crunchy leaves for us to step on and make sure to use this as an excuse to have hot chocolate, pumpkin spice drinks and enjoy your fall. So first things first, let's ask Shahzad, what are your fall preps like?
Well, I think first of all, for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. You're certainly in for a treat as of today as well. But where we're talking about fall now, I think that just yesterday I was out with my daughters, taking a walk in the park, and they made me collect quite a lot of leaves because the leaves have already started to shed. And while we were there, so we had a competition as to who is going to collect as many leaves as they can, and my daughters actually won at that. But if you are to speak about it, I think I've got my flu shot, already. I think that's the preparedness that everybody needs to get into. And there's just one simple message, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, God forbid, if you've got flu, please make sure that you do not shake hands or hug other people who are just around you. That's a public service message, because imagine just because that you've been suffering from flu, you can actually make the other one suffer by shaking hands or probably hugging them as well. But in addition to this, there are a couple of stories that I brought in. There have been recent developments. We would want to speak about it, and there are a couple of stories which Eesha have brought. So what I'm going to do is, Eesha, I think I'm going to take the lead, and then you can follow if you allow me.
Definitely, Shahzad.
All right, so speaking about the highlights, ladies and gentlemen, I think what we're going to speak about is how Israeli forces have actually boarded and taken control of several ships that are part of the global SUMUD flotilla, which had been attempting to break Israel's blockade of Gaza, and that had garnered global attention as one of the biggest naval aid missions to the Palestinian enclave. In addition to this, the Honorable Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Mia Mohammed Shahbaz Sharif, took to platform X and condemned the attack by the Israeli forces and demanded release of all of those people who've been at the front of the SUMUD flotilla, because they were there for a humanitarian cause, and they were there to bring in aid, and an immediate release has been asked by the Honorable Prime Minister. In addition to this, we will be talking about how Trump has actually reiterated and assured Qatar that that they will be defending the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Qatar, and it will be dealt in a way that whether they will be attacking back if any of the countries actually think of attacking them. In addition to this, the Qatari Prime Minister have actually spoken to international media, where he said that the Gaza ceasefire plan unveiled by United States President Donald Trump meets the key goals set by mediators, stopping the killing and displacement of Palestinians, and urged all sides to seize the momentum to bring Israel's war to end. Well, that's my part of the highlight. What about you, Eesha?
All right, Shahzad, let's talk about how the cricket world is heating up. The ICC Women's World Cup is definitely bringing a lot of anticipation for people. We've already seen the two dominant teams lay out very well in the pre-tournament, as pre-tournament favorites. It's Australia and India. Yesterday, Australia actually registered their 16th straight win against New Zealand, and for New Zealand, it wasn't enough to stop Australia from cruising to an 89-run victory. Now, all eyes turn to Colombo, where Pakistan will face Bangladesh tomorrow. It is a crucial match for Pakistan to set the momentum for being early in the tournament, and let's see how this is going to unfold. But not just this, we were talking about how October is the month of fall, but it is not just the month of fall. This month turns pink, and that is due to breast cancer awareness. It is very integral for everyone to be educated about it, to learn more about it, to prevent it. In the world alone, 2 million women get affected by this annually, and in Pakistan, around 90,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year. This means 1 in every 9 Pakistani women faces this risk. So today we are putting the spotlight where the awareness on the topic that matters, and early checkups can definitely save lives, and we will be talking further about this, but before that we will be heading out towards a short break.
Let's do this. Good morning. right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Pakistan TV, watching World this morning. And for everybody who's just tuned in, ladies and gentlemen, it's still Shahzad Khan and Eesha Rehan. It's good to see, Eesha, how you've taken inspiration and you've started to be so keen about cricket. But right at the beginning of the highlights, I did speak about how the condemnation came in from Pakistan, Europe, United Nations, Palestine, to condemn the attack on the SUMUD flotilla, which was actually out there in the high risk zone. And a lot of people have been put into prison just because by Israeli armed forces, just because of the fact that they were out there making sure that they could actually make the aid reach the people in need of Gaza. Now, I think there are a couple of things that I would want to speak about first of all, and that is that with all of what has been going on, with the 20-point peace accord, with the Muslim countries coming together, with the United States being on the same platform where we want to make sure that there's going to be a ceasefire in Gaza, imagine that Israel is actually still reverting to atrocities, and it is nothing other than an atrocity. I mean, for people to come together, for Muslim nations to come together, for United States, America to be on the same page where we demand a ceasefire, Israel still resorts to atrocities, and that too on people who are actually out there for a humanitarian cause, who just want people of Gaza to have that aid which will give them their breath back, which will give them that food because they haven't had food in days, which will give them that clean drinking water which they are in need of. And what Israel does, Israel keeps on attacking the SUMUD flotilla because they were in high risk zone, putting a lot of journalists, not just journalists, environmentalists and people with all of that humanitarian aid up into prison. And now, obviously, the Honorable Prime Minister has taken to Platform X as well, where how he condemns it, and Israel keeps on doing that. I mean, the bigger question mark over here is whether is it going to stop in days to come or not, whether the Summit Flotilla will make it to Gaza with their aid for the people of Gaza. These are the questions that I'll be posing to Mr. Dr. Jamil Khan, happens to be a former ambassador. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Salam. I'm good.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. First things first, sir, unfortunately, I think it's really tough for me to kind of sit over here and then have that balance. And it's because of the fact that, on one hand, we do have the Muslim countries coming together. We do have United Nations. We do have United States of America making sure that they bring in all the efforts to make sure that we see a day where there's a ceasefire in Gaza. But on the other hand, when humanitarian aid is being sent, Summit Flotilla is in the high risk zone. It's just around the coastal waters of Gaza. They've been attacked by Israeli naval forces, very rightly. And then, unfortunately, a lot of humanitarian aid workers have been put into jail and prison, and they are in Israel's captivity. What do you make of it?
Well, that shows about the attitude of Israel, that they are careless about any kind of international law. We're talking about this Samud Flotilla, global Samud Flotilla. They have kidnapped people. In fact, that's what the legal experts are saying. It's not arrest, it's kidnapping of about, initially they kidnapped about 172 people from the flotilla, and rest of them out of 500 probably by now might have been taken to Israeli port. So that's from the international water, and that's again the violation of international law. And what they were doing, it was a symbolic. Basically, there are 44 vessels, 40 vessels from 44 different countries. The activists were there from all shades of life, and some of them real celebrities. And it was a symbol that the blockade should be broken and humanitarian aid should be allowed, so much so that they have disallowed the United Nations humanitarian agencies such as UNRWA, and even UNICEF for the kids, for the children, that they could provide medicine, they could provide the formula to the formula milk to the babies. And that is also totally cut off. Everything is controlled by Israeli, and they distribute food once in a few days' time, and people are just starving. There's a famine already started. Every day, people are dying. So this was a symbolic, but they did not allow it, despite the fact that there are two vessels, one from Italy and the second one from Spain. They were the naval ships, just the rescue ship, and they announced it basically. And flotilla on the radio communication were saying that, look, we're not carrying anything. You can check that. We're just carrying the formula milk, formula for the kids, and we are carrying some medicine and food, nothing more than that. But the Israeli naval ships, there were more than 20. They were blocking at that time, and they started kidnapping people from the national water. And that was about 75 miles away from the territory of Palestine, not even territory of Israel. So they have already done blockade for the last almost over 18 years that the blockades are going on, and the world could not do anything. In fact, you mentioned in your intro that now these 20 points peace plan, people are pinning their hopes, and it may not be, in accordance with the international legal.
Dr. Jamil, which is why I'm going to, Dr. Jamil, which is why I'm going to bring in over here where how, Pakistan have responded to that. Now imagine that all of these atrocities have been taken. We do know that, Israel's been causing genocide. Israel's been, causing all of these atrocities. We do know how Netanyahu is wanted by ICC and ICJ. But what I don't get, while sitting over here, and it's so unfortunate for me to kind of be alive at this point of time, and it's because that imagine that, that there are people speaking about, how to bring about peace in Gaza, and there needs to be ceasefire, and how Donald Trump is leading the entire initiative, but yet, and the UNGA's 80th anniversary and 80th session has been going on, and yet Israel cannot find a resolve for themselves, and they have been damaging no matter what anybody could do. Is it because of the primarily fact that imagine that United States of America happens to be their chief ally? Now imagine that the Pakistan's response in the US was where Pakistan reaffirmed its unwavering solidarity with the Palestinian people and called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Speaking during the UN General Assembly debate on the veto concerning the Palestine issue, Pakistan's permanent representative to the UN ambassador Asim Iftikhar Ahmed said Israel must be held accountable for the genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. And it's not happening. It's been going on for the last 2 years.
Now, there's only one mechanism to make it happen. Um, uh, uh, this 20 points peace plan, we've been discussing it, and the 20-point peace plan, unless it is given the national legal strength, and that could only come from the United Nations Charter. But the United States president does not really give much importance to the United Nations. And during his even press conference with Netanyahu, he did mention that even the prompter was not working, and the United Nations is corrupt and so on, and has failed to deliver the results. And how it has failed, basically, it's normally every time there's some peace plan, it is vetoed, and it is vetoed no less than the United States. And why it is done, by the way, I think there might be some curiosity in the minds of your viewer. It's basically done because we all are aware what Israeli lobby is, and it has its roots from 1897, once the Zionism foundation was laid in Switzerland, in the city known as Basel. And from there, at that point, they decided they had drawn some roadmap, and accordingly, they have created their country, that is Israel, after capturing the land of Palestine. And we have seen what happened in 1967 and so on. Now, whatever decision is taken to the Congress, I'm talking about the United States now, and then obviously it resonates to United Nations Security Council also. uh, the Israeli lobby becomes very active. Now, Netanyahu has spent 6 hours on the day once this press conference had taken place, and these 20 points, in which Pakistan also had a very strong voice. And Pakistan showing its solidarity, it's not today, it's during the Qaeda Muhammad Ali Jinnah time that he had shown solidarity to Palestine while he received a letter in 1937 from Mufti Amin of Palestine, while people were being punished from the military courts of British government because they had taken over the control of Gaza. So from that time onward, we are showing our solidarity, and that's what our Prime Minister has also done. That's what our Field Marshal has done, and that's why we got involved into this 20 points. Now, the question, what I can see that what our leadership and the Arab and Muslim leadership are trying at this stage, I would at the very outset say that it doesn't meet the requirement of a national legal framework. Why I'm saying so? That there are in the United Nations Charter, plus as well as there is a Security Council resolution. There are more than a dozen Security Council resolution governing or directing Israel to really follow the international law, such
Exactly, which is why, Dr. Jamil, on these lines, I would want to now bring your attention towards where how the Qatari Prime Minister urges seizing momentum to end Israel's war on Gaza, because the statement said in an interview that the Gaza ceasefire plan unveiled by United States President Donald Trump meets the key goals set by mediators, stopping the killing and displacement of Palestinians, and urged all sides to seize the momentum. How do you think that we need to now seize momentum, that, that in our lives, inshallah, there's this fortunate time that we see that there's a permanent cease fire, that, the people of Palestine could actually build back better, they're speaking with transitional governments, and how the Palestinian people will have the right to self-determination?
there are only two choices available with the world at large and the bloc of 57 country, that is OIC. And those two choices are either to resist in accordance with international law, or to act, to find a mechanism, which they have done, a kind of 20 points which was evolved in consultation of Arab and Muslim leaders. And even while we are talking, the Turkey, Egypt, and Qatar, they are having negotiation. They started having negotiation even this morning. They had started it yesterday, this morning with Hamas, because those 72 hours, almost 34 hours have gone, and now remaining hours they have to really decide. Otherwise, the ultimatum was given: no one less than the most powerful president of the most powerful country of the world, that is United States. Then in that case, Netanyahu would have a free hand and support of United States if this is not accepted. So under these circumstances, what has to be very tactful. The countries who are involved have to be very tactful to really provide some space to the Palestinian, and then explore the possibilities of making sure that the international law is being abided. But there has to be some starting point. I would, as I said at the very outset, that it does not fit the international legal framework. All these 20 points.
All right. And Dr. Jamil, on this note, let's turn our eyes on Israel. We know about the atrocity it has committed. We know about the flotilla, how it is stopping humanitarian aid in Palestine, and now bombardment is still being carried out in Gaza. Around 60 people were killed last night. And let's shift our eyes and focus on the atrocity committed on Qatar, right? And on this note, the President Trump actually issued an executive order promising the Qatari nation that Qatar security will be guaranteed. Do you think this guarantee will happen? Trump actually hinted on military intervention in case Israel attacked again. Do you think it is just a political ploy, or is it a secure security guarantee?
And sir, very sorry, obviously I do know that it's going to get a little lengthy, but imagine, despite the ceasefire, Israeli strikes kill 103 in Lebanon.
No, but the ceasefire has not really been implemented yet. And Lebanon, they already have a loose end of their agreement with Lebanon, that they could intrude into Lebanon anytime they feel like, anytime they feel that there is a threat. And that's what the clause, they have kept it in these 20 points also, that Israel, if they find that there is some threat still existing in Gaza, during this process of implementation of these 20 points, they can step in again. And who is going to define that? It's Israel, which is going to define that. But then, having said so, let's have some positive angle to the whole thing. And the positive angle is, we have a choice. The remaining Palestinian, either they lose their life, they die of hunger and the bullets and the bombs, or we should have some space to further negotiate the implementation through these 8 members. And the West is also really siding it to its greater deal. So there could be some ray of hope that it could be implemented with the involvement of countries like Pakistan and Turkey and other Arab and Muslim countries. So from that standpoint, as I said, there are only two choices. One, that OIC in its Charter of Para 7 it clearly says that, you can have your own security framework like, NATO has, and they can have their own the sub agreement with all the countries of the 57, and then can have their own army and then just go and start fighting it. But is it viable? Is it possible? Wouldn't it push towards the Third World War? So obviously, all these the head of states and head of government, they have that much of acumen, and that's the reason they want to avoid that major conflict. Number one, and they want to save the life of the Palestinian. Having said so, Israel is continuing.
Jamil, so Dr. Jamil, just towards the end of this segment, thank you so much for your time, first of all. For my understanding, for better understanding of people out there, the international audience that we have. Now, imagine that just because that US happens to be one of those countries which can actually kind of control the world order, unfortunately or fortunately, you are to kind of prescribe on that. But when we speak about such a chief ally of Israel, what happens is that we see that no other country can actually bring in that support for Palestine or Palestinian people or Gaza. We have seen that the ceasefire in Lebanon was from 2024, and the Lebanon armed forces always say that there have been violations, they have been demolishing homes and whatnot. How do you think, because now the Palestinians have not been left with a choice. They're only left with 72 hours. Either they accept it, or if they do not accept it, the United States President says very terrible things are going to happen. Do you think that in days to come, the Hamas leadership will actually accept it? Because now the Israeli armed forces have actually issued a warning saying that people really need to move and kind of make sure that, that they're not aligned with, or they are not with the Hamas's forces and people or the leadership which still stays in Gaza. What do you think will happen in the next 72 hours?
My analysis based on the dots which I can connect, including the statement of Qatari Prime Minister, as well as the efforts which is going on as we talk by Turkey, Egypt, and Qatar. I feel that the Hamas would really take this bitter pill and would accept it. And the reasons I have already enumerated about it. So far as Israel is concerned, two good things have happened besides whatever negative aspects we have really thought about, that they are not going to capture Gaza, which they had decided that they are going to totally ethnically, they are going to cleanse it. And this what the right wing is still demanding, that, we have to capture Gaza and we have to, make the settlement there. That is one part. And second part, they are giving an amnesty to the Hamas people, and the assurance, who would give the assurance? Those questions can crop in our mind. And those assurances are these head of the states, these head of the governments who are involved in this negotiation, and then with an oversight of the board, in which I can envisage and I can imagine that Pakistan, Turkey, and Arab countries would be there in that board. And obviously, once you are there, once you can resonate your voice, you can also get the decision changed, as it happened in this case also. Two very important point, and the 19th point of the out of these 20 is that they would see that the path is paved for the Palestine as a statehood of the Palestine. So although there are so many stages of that, but at least there is some roadmap in front of these Muslim leaders and in front of this board in which Muslim leaders are there. I am not saying that it's an ideal thing. I would have gone for the United Nations Security Council resolution as it happened in East Timor and as it happened in Kosovo. But if that is not happening, shall I accept the killing of all Palestinians and this completely ethnic cleansing of them, or shall I have some kind of a time?
Exactly, Dr. Jamil. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for stating that. And in no way, the killings of the innocent Palestinian people, children and women and men and doctors, and destroying the facilities, schools and hospitals can actually be legitimized. Netanyahu is wanted by ICC and ICJ, and it's time that the world actually comes together to make sure that the culprit meets with the justice. And where Dr. Jamil spoke about the clause 19, which states, while Gaza redevelopment advances and when the reform program is faithfully carried out, the conditions may finally be in place for a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood, which we recognize as the aspiration of the Palestinian people. And that's exactly where the hope stands. We are heading out towards the short break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Good morning.
up to all the people who stay tuned to stay informed. And today, everyone is going to be very excited since we are going to be talking and diving into the world of cricket. The cricket world is heating up with the ICC Women's World Cup. On the playing field yesterday, Australia registered their 16th straight win against New Zealand. Unfortunately for New Zealand, it wasn't enough to stop Australia from cruising to an 89-run victory. And tomorrow, Pakistan will actually be facing Bangladesh.
Today.
Tonight, Pakistan will be facing Bangladesh today, and we are excited to see the match. But to speak more about how these matches are unfolding, we actually have a cricket analyst in studios with us, online with us today. He happens to be
Mr. Syed, HAIDER. Hello, HAIDER. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Oh, it's really a big moment for the Pakistan cricket. Pakistan women's cricket, they are going to face Bangladesh. I think Pakistan women's, they have worked hard, and we have good hopes from the Pakistan women's team. They will do something good well. The most important thing is that Bangladesh, they are also at same level of the Pakistan. So the match will be very interesting, and it's crucial for Pakistan because Pakistan is going to face on Sunday India, and against the India, it will be really a test for the Pakistan because Pakistan is still they haven't won against Indian women's cricket. So today is the key for the Sunday match. If the Pakistan women's team today perform well, then it will be a good Pakistan's preparation for the Sunday match. What we can say for the today match is the most important the performance of Sidra Amin. She has got 202 centuries against South Africa series in Pakistan. So now it's a test for Sidra she can perform on the Sri Lankan surface, and it will be a good thing for the Pakistan women's cricket also that the team is representing in World Cup, Women's World Cup. So I think Pakistan nation, Pakistan cricket fans, they have to support Pakistan women's cricket and Pakistan women's team.
And then on this analysis, let's talk about how the Bangladeshi team actually faces and struggles with fast bowling. So how can we actually leverage Fatma Sana's pace attack in tonight's match?
That's a wonderful question.
Yeah, Bangladesh team, I have heard the press conference of Bangladesh cricket captain yesterday, and she mentioned that they have some problem in the batting. So it will be an advantage for the Pakistan team, Pakistani bowlers. And Pakistan have very good spinners. Nashra Sandhu, left-arm spinner, she is good. Fatima Sana and other bowlers. So it's a good opportunity for those bowlers. I think in Sri Lanka, you are better, more better in spin department because the surface provides some assistance to spinners. So it will be also for the Pakistani bowler. Bangladesh, they don't have the good spinners. So it's a good opportunity for the Pakistani spinners also to show their spin bowling today, and they can get some good practice against also Bangladesh. A part of the result of the today, but most important, the match on Sunday. How today they can get some energy, they can get some motivation for the Sunday match. So it's a preparation for the Sunday match. How they perform today, it will go together with on to Sunday.
Either way, you're certainly being optimistic, and it's great, to be optimistic and positive. And what the men's team couldn't do, you were probably expecting for the women's team to do it, and they might be able to do it. But where my colleague actually did mention about Fatima Sana, I think it's her job today as well against Bangladesh, because imagine that she has 12 wickets at an average of 23.75 in 2025 with an economy rate of 4.92. Now, the utility of those 10 overs, the question first of all, where do you think those 10 overs will be placed? The first power play, the second, or the third? So what in the right manner do you think the bowling choices should be for Pakistan? Because my colleague over here did mention that, that Bangladesh, looking at them, looks like as if the pace attack might be difficult for them to handle.
Uh, Maybe it is also possible that the fast attack it will be a problem for the Bangladesh. But the Pakistani bowlers, they are relying. I have heard the pressure of the Fatma Sana yesterday, and they are relying more on the spinners. She was mentioning that our spin department is more better than our fast bowling, and we have done well in the past, and now we will do also same like we have done against South Africa and other teams. Uh, what should be today, it is I think it depends upon the wicket also, the pitch also. It is the same like in men's cricket, the women's cricket also same. uh, Definitely it's not the quality and standard of the women's team is not like women men's cricket, but it's still it's a cricket, it's a game, international cricket. And definitely the both the spin and fast, they have to do something, and they will do. I think we have to make good hopes from our Pakistan women's team is still, they are not very good against the international teams like England, Australia, India, and other teams, but still they are in a good shape and to do something. The coach, head coach Wasim Mohammad Wasim is there, and they are, and Junaid Khan and all other the coaches, they are doing hard, and we have to make good hopes from today.
And the most interesting bit which comes in is that in an interview they've mentioned that that Junaid has been working with the team as well, where they've been going in for reverse swing and teaching them techniques, which I do believe is great. But the most interesting part over here is that Fatima Sana has actually played 49 one-day international, but this will be her first one in Sri Lanka. How do you see that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I hope she will perform well in Sri Lanka. But Sri Lanka, the in the men's cricket also, the Sri Lanka is not a surface for the fast bowlers. Sri Lanka is a surface for the spinners. I think today it will be the same. But Fatima Sinha is very energetic, very good, and she is hard worker, and definitely she will do something well. Junaid Khan is a very good bowler in the past. He was, and he knows how to handle the women. But definitely, we should not equate like the men's cricket. It is very just another different type of cricket. And what the women's of Australia and England or New Zealand, they are, or India playing, it is very another, because our culture, our system, our society, they don't support women's cricket. So therefore, what the women's are playing, really, it's a very hard struggle for the cricket, what they are doing. And the PCB is managing well the Pakistan women's cricket. But we have to understand that the women's cricket is not same like the men's cricket. But what they can do, we hope that they will do 100%, and they will give 100% performance. So Junaid Khan and others coaches, they have done, and I hope the result will be today more better than the past.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much, Syed Heather, for being here today and giving us deep insights into the match. We will be looking forward to watch it tonight, and we'll probably be discussing it tomorrow.
But which is why, Eesha, what I've done is that I've actually brought my playing 11 for today against Bangladesh, and I think, the way that I've given it is that number one will be, obviously the openers will be Muniba Ali and Umayma Sohail. Then it's going to be Sidra Amin, then on 4 Fatima Sana, then Natalia Parvez, then Iman Fatima, Sidra Khan, Syeda Rupsha, Diana Beg, Ramim Shamim, and Nashra Sandhu. What about you?
All right, so I feel like the Pakistan's top order does include Bisma Madouf, Mubin Ali, and in the middle orders, Alize Reyaz and Nadia Dar also bring a lot of spotlight. So we hope that they all combine and use their specified interests to actually.
That was a good one.
Diminish Bangladesh from the field.
Yeah, exactly, and make sure, I think what Pakistan women's cricket team needs to do is that please make sure, because that's exactly what they did in the qualifiers, that they were able to get wickets during the middle overs. The second phase of the game, which is from the 11th over till the 40th over, because it's a one-day international. So I think that's exactly how they really need to kind of toss in between, make sure that they get wickets and bring victory for Pakistan, which unfortunately the men's team couldn't.
Well, let's see. Let's hope that our women's team can definitely redeem us. But speaking of redemption, this is the month of pink, the month of fall, the month about breast cancer awareness, right? So talking about why this is very crucial is that 2 million women in the world are affected by breast cancer annually, and in Pakistan, around 90,000 women are affected by
And that's a teaser for you, because, ladies and gentlemen, what are we talking about right after this?
All right, speaking about the facts of breast cancer awareness, this actually means that around 1 out of every 9 women in Pakistan has the chance of being at the risk of developing breast cancer. We need to spread more awareness about it because awareness and education will lead to precaution. And to break this cycle about the silence and the stigmas regarding breast cancer, to speak more about this, we actually have Dr. Umar AFTAB, who is the CEO of Pink Ribbon Pakistan. He will be joining us online today. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Umar.
Thank you very much.
Umar bhai, assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to see you on my screen once again. It's been long that we haven't met, but the cause that you've been working for day and night and for years now, it looks like as if, the kind of awareness that you wanted to bring about, in our generation or in the people of Pakistan is something worked very positively. Are you satisfied with the amount of work that Pink Ribbon has actually put in? Now imagine that from the Prime Minister House to the President House, for the entire Pakistan to be lit up pink, to raise awareness about breast cancer. Are you satisfied with the hard work that you've put in?
Alhamdulillah, we have come a long way. It's been now almost 22 years when we started this campaign, and starting from a point when it was almost impossible to talk about this, to just say word breast at any level, and coming to a point where we are talking, we are having this show, we are talking at national level, we have the ringtone going on through PTA. We are going to educational institutions. The top policymakers are now taking serious interest in this topic. So yes, there is a change. But on the other hand, I think at the grassroots level, because at times we all put everything on the government. There are some things we as citizens of Pakistan are also responsible. So now we have equipment available, we have infrastructure available across Pakistan. We have Syed card for treatment. We have Batul Mal supporting cancer patients for their chemotherapies. But the missing link still is that unfortunately women are delaying on early detection, and that's why I think we need to talk about this issue again and again. We need to highlight this issue again and again. But if we compare in last 22 years, definitely there is a positive change, and we have come a long way on breast cancer awareness, alhamdulillah.
And Mr. Umar, speaking about early detection, as you mentioned, why is it that in Pakistan this cancer is detected very late, around the late stages of 3 to 4? However, compared to the rest of the world, it really doesn't happen like that. And why do you think do you think Pink Ribbon has found the main cause of this reason?
Well, unfortunately, being a patriarchal society, we see that anything to do with women in our society, in our culture, that becomes a bit difficult. And especially when it comes to anything to do with the women's sexuality, it becomes more difficult. So that's why we see that at the household level, at the community level, issues like breast cancer, because we see, first of all, women would delay, they would not take the symptoms seriously, they would delay it, they would not come to a doctor. They would, even if they are being diagnosed with breast cancer, they would not tell it at home. So there is a denial at least three different levels. First of all, women, they deny having anything. Then the second denial is that they would not share it with the family. And then the third denial, we've seen that at times families would not, take the patient for the treatment. So, and on the other hand, why we are running this campaign on breast cancer again and again? Because the reason is that this is the only cancer which can be diagnosed at early stage. And if it's diagnosed at the early stage, chances of survival are more than 95%. And for early detection, there are very simple three steps. For example, first step is to do a monthly self-examination. So for that, no female has to go out to anyone. They can just do it on their own. The second step is that all those women who are 30 and plus, they should go for clinical examination after every 2 years. And the third step is that all those women who are 40 plus, they should go for mammogram after every 2 years. So this is the call for action.
Mr. Omar, obviously, we've been talking about all of these things, but, there's a very grief issue which I do see with the data which is coming now, unfortunately. So I do recognize these three steps and how, early detection can actually help save the patient. But hear me out on this. Imagine that 90,000 women in 2024 were diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, you did speak about the missing link, which is early detection. You've, probably initiated that talk on that how families won't bring their patients. Imagine that the annual deaths are somewhat around 40,000 women. Now, the unfortunate part is that there is a 30% increase in new cases. Earlier, the ages which would unfortunately fall into this very menace of or illness was 50 to 64. Now, it comes down to 30 to 34. How do you think that we really need to now develop a debate about, probably lifestyles and what is actually affecting women which are getting breast cancers, unfortunately?
True. In fact, we are now focusing on prevention because now latest medical studies tell us that 40% risk of breast cancer can be decreased by lifestyle change. And in that, the major component is our eating habit. So whatever we are eating, lots of junk food, processed food, fizzy drinks, these all things, and especially those food which have hormones and steroids in it, all of these are creating lots of health issues, and especially in female, they are creating hormonal imbalance, and hormonal imbalance is directly linked to, the effect in estrogen, and estrogen creates breast cancer. So 40% of risk can be reduced with just changing the lifestyle. So we need to be very careful because that's the reason we see that even in younger age group in early 20s now we see patients with breast cancer with no family history, no known reason for breast cancer but still having breast cancer. So it's very important to be very careful about lifestyle. About we need to have physical activity. We need to have our complete sleep cycle. We need to eat healthy because cancer is increasing every year, and major cause is our eating habits.
All right, Mr. Uber, you've spoken very accurately regarding those points. And now, speaking about precaution, right? At what age should women start going for screenings, and how often should these screenings take place?
So after the age of puberty, they should start with the self-examination. They should fix one day in a month, and they should do their own self-examination. The next step is that from the age of 30, they should go for clinical checkup by any gynecologist, any female doctor. And after the age of 40, they should go for mammogram, which is X-ray of the breast.
All right, thank you so much for taking out your time and dedicating your life's work, contributing towards women's health and making sure that the Pakistani women stay safe.
Just one small thing, Mr. Umar, and that is that we've been together. When you spoke about that hospital that you've been building, for breast cancer specifically, is it operational now? Where are we? At what stage? And for all of those people who are out there, let them know how can they actually have access to free treatment for breast cancer if, God forbid, they've been diagnosed by it.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, the Pink Ribbon Hospital, which is Pakistan's first dedicated breast cancer hospital, that is complete. We are already providing diagnostic services. We have just starting the surgery and chemotherapy, and this is a charity hospital. It's free of cost. It's very centrally located in Lahore. We are on Firozpur Road near Kalma Chowk, so uh, this facility is available, and we are there for the aim of this hospital is that no women should die because of not having access to healthcare or not having the financial resources for their treatment.
Umar, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. Yes, Eesha, you want to say something?
Wait, I was talking about how dedicated people like Mr. Umar are changing lives, not just in Pakistan but globally as well. And we need to make sure that we assist such people in this help. And
And you're doing that already.
yeah, and you are doing that already as well.
You
And
have an
collectively-
individual who's helping people out there, alhamdulillah.
Exactly, and then we are very honored to be presenting about these topics and talking about these topics on international TV to spread awareness. And on this note, we are going to conclude the morning show. So see you tomorrow and stay tuned.
Look after yourselves. Allah Hafiz.